What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the We Run on Coffee podcast. I am Erica.
And I'm Marissa.
And today we are so excited to bring you book club number 8. I can't believe we've done 8 book clubs. If you read our title, you know this is our 90th episode ever, which is iconic, so amazing. And it's our 46th episode of this year, or also we call it season 2. So very exciting. We are going to dive into the book The Half of It by Madison Beer. This was an Erica's choice. And I will be back in quarter 1 of next year with my choice. If you guys know, you know, but I'll also tell you, just so you know. Every year at the end of the year, whoever picks the last book of this year picks the first book of next year. And that's so that Marissa and I can alternate seasons. So Marissa did last year's winter book. I did this year's winter book. And so on. You'll get it. But 4 book clubs a year. That's why we're at 8 and we're at the end of season 2.
Yay.
So we're celebrating our 2 years very soon. And I'm so excited.
Me too.
Anyways, let's dive in. We have a lot to discuss. And what are you drinking? I'm not drinking anything different.
I still have my Winter Wonderland Alani, which happy December. It actually is December this year.
December. That's so true.
Ignore me thinking
this week. She says this year.
Oh, ignore me thinking it was December last week. It's December this week. So
and our brains are also kind of fried somehow.
I know. Happy Christmas month. Enjoy all the holiday seasons.
Happy festivities.
So I'm finishing my Alani, and then I also have water for when I'm done.
Yes, I'm finishing my coffee, my breve from the last episode, and I also have water. And I guess since we just talked about it, this would be a good time to give a housekeeping update quickly. And Grace, if you're listening, you're going to be really excited. I'm not going to tell you in real life. I'll just let you hear this organically. We were going to take a really, really long Christmas break, and now we're not. And it's going to be so exciting because we have just too much content we want to share with you guys in a timely manner. So it's just, we had to. So happy December 4th, first week of December. You're hearing this episode today. Next week, December 11th, is going to be an off week. So we're going to skip. And then on December 18th, the week after, is going to come back. We're going to come back with a big catch up. So me and Marissa are going to be apart from each other for like a month. We're going to have Thanksgiving, a nice slow holiday with our families, that kind of stuff. And when we come back, we're going to do our Spotify Wrapped. We do it every year. We cannot neglect to do it for you guys.
I know.
We'll do our Spotify Wrapped. What's also fun though is we'll get our We Run on Coffee Wrapped, so we can give you guys the data about you guys.
Yes.
Which is really fun.
Which I think usually comes out before everybody's Spotify Wrapped. So we'll have a chance to like dig into it and actually understand it. And then we can talk about it with everybody. Yes.
And then maybe we could like come up with a couple of our own wrapped stats that we pull together. Like you guys answered this many polls or something like that too.
Yeah. I do monthly reporting for our podcast every month. Yeah. So I'll have every month of this year except for December ready by then. So we can also go through that.
That would be really cute. Yeah, we could do a couple like, these are our top stats of the year. Love it. Okay, so we'll get prepped. So yeah, that will be on December 18th, like a big catch up, a very chit chatty episode. So if you guys like when we just shoot the shit, like you'll like it. And then the week after that is the 25th. That's Christmas. So we're going to have an off week. And then we will be back ready to go on January 1st with a bonus fun Survivor episode where we're going to talk about all the things of the end of season of Survivor 47. So that will be really cool.
It will be coming out about 2 weeks after Survivor. The finale comes out approximately. So if you haven't caught up by then, you'll at least have until January 1st to watch the season.
So true. And then, like I said, that's January 1st. We'll have 2 weeks off after that. So we actually do have a tiny bit of a winter break because we're coming back with some new fun things in our season 3 premiere, which we're going to have on January 22nd. So then we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming. And that was a mouthful. So I'll be sure to post it on Instagram too. So you guys know what the heck's going on. But just wanted to give you guys an update.
Yeah.
Very fun. So let's do our looking ahead. What are you looking forward to, Marissa? I'm so excited.
I have so much. So as we're recording this, it's like mid-November. So we still have about 2 weeks until Thanksgiving, I think. Something like that. Like 2.5 weeks until Thanksgiving. So this week, I am getting my new big tattoo on Friday.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God, wait, I'm so excited.
I am really excited. I am really scared because it's going to be my biggest one. She said it's going to take about 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours.
Shit. One session? Oh my God. Okay, wait, you have to send us a picture so we can show them.
It will be completely done at the end of that session. It's going to be big. Wow. It's going to be on my knee. It's going to be in my knee pit. It's going to hurt. We're going to be okay though.
Yeah. You know what I always wish, and I know you're not supposed to, and I know most places tell you can't. I'm like, if you would just let me drink before, like I'd probably be better. I'd feel better, but like they can't let you do that.
Like just let me have like one glass of wine.
Seriously, let me take a shot.
Yeah, you do tend to bleed more when you drink before the tattoos and stuff. Yeah. So like that would be the biggest biggest worry because she's going to be going ham on my leg for like 5 hours that I would probably bleed a little bit more, which it's not like I'm bleeding out. It's not going to be bad for me, but it's going to make her work a lot harder.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, I'll come in like 2 weeks before, confirm everything I want. Like, don't let me change my mind day of, but let me take a shot or two.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. That would have made me get a tattoo 3 years ago when I wanted it, or like, actually, I've been wanting the tattoo I want for 7 years now.
Do it.
Like, since I met Angelo. I really want to. I said I should do it for my birthday this year, but the problem is, okay, long story. I'll wrap it up quick. But my Nana, who passed away 7 years ago, she always said, or always sang me, "You are my sunshine," always called me her sunshine, like in cards and stuff. And I don't know if I've said this on the pod, a little tiny sun, but I want it to be she drew it, and I cannot find anything that she drew it. So I just don't think it'll happen. So I'll have to draw my own, but that's that.
I think that it would be really cute though. And
it'd like, be small too and like easy.
You could try and do it around like the anniversary of her death too.
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be so very cute. But I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot. I'm going to take my book and I'm going to just like read the whole time. My tattoo artist does talk to me a bit. Like this will be the third tattoo I've gotten done by her. So she does like talk to me a bit. There's usually a movie going on in the background in like the studio. And I think I might recruit Owen or Mara to come and sit with me for a couple of hours. But I'm going to try my best to like stick it out on my own. Because even when people come, like sometimes they're not talking to you. And I'm like, that's not helpful. So I'll probably just try and read the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, maybe you'll want to read our next book club book. I think I'm just going to make the decision on it. I think I'm just going to do it, even though it's not super wintry.
I don't know if I want to read it this early.
That's true. You probably could have the time to finish a whole book in one sitting. Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm excited for you.
Okay, so that's my first thing I'm looking forward to. The day after, I am doing Friendsgiving with some of my friends from around here. So, of course, the ones I always talk about, Owen, Mara, Brooke, Caitlin, all of them. And then apparently they're all inviting friends, too. And there's going to be like 15 people there. It's a lot. I'm making a ham.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I'm not making a turkey. I refuse to do that. I'm so scared. I'm not doing that until I have a house, but I will make a ham.
Okay. Are you team ham or turkey? Like, what would you pick if you, for purely like enjoyment of the eating it?
Both. I don't know. I don't have a preference either way.
All right. I'm team turkey. I don't like ham.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so that's the first two things I'm looking forward to. And then the weekend after that, so the weekend before Thanksgiving, I am going on a cider festival in Alexandria, Virginia.
What?
I'm going with my parents and Kyle. It was like $50 a ticket, and you get tastings at like all the locations you go to. I'm assuming it's sort of like a bar crawl situation, but it's all ciders.
I would freaking die. I want to go to that so bad.
I'm very excited.
That's so up my alley. That is, if I had to pick my favorite like alcoholic drink, like a classic cider, like a hard cider.
I agree. That's my favorite.
Yep. Oh my God. Every time I see those 1918 or whatever they're called, 1911, I think of you. 1911. I always think of you.
I actually just got a new one. They came out with their like winter flavors. They have sugar plum and cranberry this year, and I got the cranberry one, and I've already finished all 4 that come in the pack.
Oh my God, that's funny.
They're just so good.
Yeah, I love.
Okay, so that's that update. The weekend after that, so the weekend after Thanksgiving, so I obviously have my 5-miler turkey trot in the morning on Thanksgiving. I'll come home. My mom and dad might go watch us run. They might stay here. I don't know really what they're planning, but we're going to eat food together. We're all going to cook at my house and just like stay here.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like I said, is Black Friday. Me and my mom will probably go shopping, probably set up our apartment for Christmas and stuff like that. And then the thing I'm most excited for that I just planned yesterday is a Christmas brunch. So me, my parents, and Kyle are all going to go to this place called the Brighton in DC. And it's for their Holly Jolly pop-up holiday bar.
That's so cute.
And they had, I think it was $60 a person or something like that for an entree and a drink. And so you can like obviously add on when you get there. So if you want to try more of the holiday drinks or whatever, you can get more. You can get an appetizer, but it's a 90-minute brunch table spot. And then you get your entree and your drink, and it's all included in the ticket price. So I bought those tickets for me, my parents, and Kyle.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
I asked my mom yesterday and I was like, do you want to go to like this holiday pop-up brunch bar? And she was like, of course. And I was like, do you want to go just because I invited you to something or because it's Christmas? And she said, because it's Christmas.
Yes, that's so funny. My mom mom also last year really wanted to go to they have a pop-up Christmas bar in Cleveland. She's like, we need to go.
So I'm very excited about that. And that's all that I have on the docket for now.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be 4 weeks from now until Marissa and I talk again. So basically we're just kind of like skipping one recording session that we would normally have.
Yeah.
But so much can happen in 4 weeks, as you guys know.
I know. Like I said, I have all of these things planned and I'm so excited for them.
What's crazy is that, well, first of all, tomorrow's mine and Angela's 7-year anniversary. So there's that.
Oh,
we have a lot coming up. Friday night is my birthday dinner and I'm very excited. I don't know what we're doing. Angela planned it all a surprise. So I know who's coming and I know it's on Friday night, but that's all I know.
I saw that you had Erica's surprise birthday and I was like, why did she put it in her calendar?
I know. I did it because I told him to. I was like, I asked him to plan it, but he's also like so busy with school. I felt bad. He had 3 exams in one day, like on Friday, and he's just been absolutely wrecked and slammed. And I'm like, I feel bad asking for this, but I also like never ask for anything. So I'm like, will you just pick where? I said it doesn't have to be special. Just pick where we're going to go to dinner and don't tell me. And then organize I said I'll help you. I said you text the people and I'll put it in everyone's calendar because that's what I'm good at. So I just sent that out and like everyone knows that I don't know where it is, but I know who's going to be there and I kind of organized a little. So it's nice though because I didn't have to pick. He said send me some desserts you would want, so I sent him like 5 and like I don't know what I'm gonna get and it's just perfect. I'm so excited.
Yay.
So that's Friday night, and then I think on Saturday morning we might get up and drive to my parents at like 7 a.m. because my sister has an air rifle competition, which I think will be really cool to watch. So she just started doing air rifle randomly, like with one of her friends, and my mom takes them like every Thursday night and they go, and she has a competition on Saturday and I guess she's pretty good at it. So I think we might go do that.
Yay.
And then the Monday following that is my birthday. So that'll be 26.
Yay.
And yeah. And then the following Friday is my annual vision board night, which I'm so excited about because I actually have more people coming this year than normal. So my friend Cheyenne, she's also coming to my birthday dinner, but she's going to come and make a vision board with me. And then Grace and Lauren are coming. They're not making boards, but they're coming. And then Amelia's going to come make a vision board. Angela makes a vision board. It's just going to be like, you know, like crafting supplies everywhere, like a big mess in the best way. And everyone's just going to like make plans for 2025 and manifest. So it's cute.
Yay.
And then let's see, surely there's more. In between there, what else? Oh, yes. Thanksgiving. Duh. I haven't even gotten there yet. Okay. So for Thanksgiving this year, we're doing Thanksgiving with my family on Thanksgiving Day. And then we're spending the night at my parents. And my mom likes to do untraditional just because everything's traditional. And we all go to a lot of family houses, you know, like in a row. So my mom goes for untraditional. So in the morning, we're doing my grandparents' traditional, regular stuff. And then in the evening, we're going to go back to my mom's and we're going to drink, play games, have some of her friends over. It's just going to be like a big hangout, which will be cute. Spend the night, wake up on Friday, Black Friday, drive to Columbus, come back, and have Thanksgiving with Angela's mom in the evening. She really wanted to do untraditional this year too. So we're doing a Themesgiving. I don't know if you saw this on my calendar. It's so funny. We're doing Themesgiving and it's Mario Party themed. We all voted and there were so many ideas. So I made a poll and it was like, Mario Party, dress as your favorite character. Dancing with the Stars, dress as your favorite like pairing. Just so many different Gilmore Girls, Only Murders in the Building, just different theme options. And everyone voted Mario Party. Oh, dress as each other was one, which would have been funny. But everyone voted for Mario Party. So we're all going to wear Mario Party outfits, like a little costume. And then all the food is going to be Mario Party themed, which is going to be so
What are you going to make?
I'm making, here, I'll show a picture and I'll also put these on the Instagram. But let me show you really fast.
That's so funny.
It'll be over by now, so I won't ruin the surprise. First of all, if you know in Mario, they have like the little yellow cubes that you jump and hit and it has like a question mark on it. So you can just make Rice Krispies and put white question marks on them, which is really cute. Super simple. So I'll probably do that. And then this one's kind of hard to explain, but if you know in Mario, you guys, there's like the little flower that's like the fireball flower thing, and you can make it out of veggies. So it's going to look like this.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
so cute?
So those are contributions. I'll show you the little blocks too. And also you can cut like just like Colby Jack cheese into a star shape with a star cookie cutter. So I might do that too and add it to my little cheese veggie tray. So it's going to be so cute.
That is so cute.
So that's Themesgiving is what I'm calling that. And then what else? Put up our Christmas decorations on December 1st. And then it looks like it's pretty chill after that until our next recording.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yay.
So we just have to make it through Thanksgiving. Phew.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be so fun.
It's going to be fun. All right. Let's dive into the book club. I was telling Marissa, you guys, I don't think it needs to be like as long as our normal book clubs. And the other thing I will say is that this one, you guys know, if you've listened to a book club ever, we love super summary. This one does not have a super summary. I could not find one. This one was actually really hard to find resources on it. So I pulled a summary just from like an article of a student writer wrote an article about it, and I'm going to read that to you guys. And then that's one resource. So that's Her Campus is the resource, and the article was called Book Review, the half of it. So I used that for the summary, and then I used Madison Beer Wiki, which is so funny. She has her own wiki website. So Madison Beer Wiki, and there's a page for her book, the half of it, and that just outlines each chapter, what it's titled, and then what is in the chapter, just like in one sentence. So I thought that might be good to go through as well. So we'll do that first, then we'll give our thoughts on the book, and then I don't know if did you preview this before? Because you asked me about the journal prompts, which I thought was funny. Instead of discussion questions, I thought we could just do a couple journal prompts live instead, which would be fun. And not all of them, because there's a lot. We'll just pick ones that are like the least, stressful to do.
Yeah.
Live.
Okay.
But yeah. So let's get started. I am going to give you guys the summary. So if this is the point in our episodes, we do this every time, where if you haven't read the book, you can just listen along and get the gist of it so that you can stay for the episode if you want to. So
yeah,
here we go from Her Campus article. On April 25th, singer Madison Beer released a memoir called The Half of It. In this book, Madison talks about the ups and downs she went through while trying to make it as a singer. Starting at a young age, Madison wanted to pursue a career as she loved to sing and entertain. Finally, she was discovered at 12 years old and she moved to California. Her mother, Tracy Beer, dropped everything to support her daughter's music career. As she began to find her way through the industry, many obstacles stood in her way. First, intimate pictures of Madison were spread all over social media. The person she shared the photos with was a boy she was in a relationship, which started her fear of trusting people. Upon the photos being leaked, she began to receive negative attention. She recalls being sent videos by middle-aged men reacting to the intimate photos in a predatory manner. The main component that bothered her of everything was the hate, so she feared to go out in public because she thought the haters that she was seeing online were actually going to confront her in public in a threatening manner, and she was scared. So most of the time she would stay confined to her home and never go out, and her friends would have to pull teeth to have her go out for a bit. Not literally. One main thing that Beer talks about in the memoir is her battle with mental health in adolescence. So she talks about having suicidal ideations at the age of 16 and abusing substances throughout. This also caused her and her mother to become distant. One big moment that triggered her mental health was when she was dropped from her record label. She took this hard because she felt like she let down her mom, which was the main supporter of her career. Of course, her mother was not disappointed or let down. Even though times were tough, her mother was still there for her. During this dark time, Madison began her journey of learning to love herself. And unlike other memoirs, Madison made it interactive so everyone could engage. And on some of the pages, there were journal prompts that invite the reader to answer them. So we're going to go through those at the end. So that's like a little summary.
I know we're not into it yet, but I really liked how she had like the Hey Madison letters.
Yes.
How it was like actual fans writing questions to her and she answered those.
Yeah. At some of the beginning of each chapter would have like a little Dear Madison ... And it would have a listener or like a fan's question, and it would say like from Marissa in Virginia. And that was really cute. And they would ask her questions or like share their struggles, and she would give them advice like in the book, which is very cute. I did like that as well.
I think that was my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, honestly, it was really, really nice. So I'm just going to read a quick, like, this is each chapter thing, and they're pretty short so that you guys can get more of a rounded story, I guess. So first chapter is just called The Half of It, which is the name of the book, and that gives a little introduction to her and what she's going to talk about in the book. She kind of prefaced everything, which I thought was interesting. I feel like they don't always do that, but she kind of gave us, this is everything that's going to be here, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is
I
nice.
liked how she was also like upfront and honest and saying like she's still coming to grips with a lot of her story. And
so true.
She's like, this is the half of it. I'm not comfortable sharing the other half of it yet.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she was very upfront, which I liked. Chapter 2 is called Smoke and Mirrors. This chapter delves into the author's experiences of presenting a polished or idealized version of herself to the world while hiding vulnerabilities and struggles. This might include stories of times when she felt pressured to conform to others' expectations or maintain a certain image. Chapter 3 was called The Man Behind the Curtain. The Man Behind the Curtain represents resilience or hidden strategies that Madison used to navigate difficult times. Chapter 4, If the Shoe Fits. This chapter related to self-identity, acceptance, and personal growth throughout the metaphor of shoes. It's funny that it says that. Chapter 5, Mob Mentality. This explores the author's experience with social dynamics and the impact of group behavior on individual emotions and mental health. Chapter 6, It's Not Me, It's You. It's Not Me, It's You could serve as a powerful reflection on the impact of relationships on one's self-esteem and well-being, capturing a journey from pain to empowerment. Chapter 7, Blessing in Disguise. This is a metaphorical playlist that highlights significant songs corresponding to key life events or phases, illustrating how music has acted as a soundtrack to your journey. Each song can represent a specific moment, emotion, or lesson learned. So this was one of the journal prompts that we can look at later. Choosing some songs for your life, which is really cute. Inner Child is chapter 8. In this chapter, the memoir dives deep into the journey of rediscovering the innocence, creativity, and joy that we often lose as we transition into adulthood. These stories serve as a backdrop for understanding how societal expectations and personal struggles can lead to the neglect of this essential part of oneself. Chapter 9 is High Tide. This chapter explores various themes and experiences using the metaphor of high tide to symbolize peak moments in life, emotional highs, changes, and challenges. 10 is Work in Progress. So this serves as an introspective and reflective piece where the author addresses their past, present, and future selves. Madison addresses specific challenges she's faced, expressing the pain and the lessons learned from her experiences. And it includes anecdotes, that's a hard word to say, about failures, heartbreak, or moments of self-doubt, conveying a sense of vulnerability. The whole book conveys a sense of vulnerability, by the way. 11 is The Road Not Taken. And this chapter explores the theme of personal choices, self-imposed barriers that hinder individuals from pursuing true desires and potential. We're almost there, you guys. 12 is Glass Houses. This chapter focuses on the importance of owning up to one's mistakes or shortcomings. This could involve a character facing the consequences of their actions and having to confront their flaws in a metaphorical glass house, a space where everything's visible and cannot be hidden. 13 is The Greener Grass. This chapter delves into significant choices and the idea of whether pursuing different paths could have led to a greener experience, prompting reflection on past decisions. 14 is called Drink Me. The title Drink Me is a reference to Alice in Wonderland. The Drink Me potion symbolizes transformation and the ability to change oneself. This title could signify pivotal moments in the author's life where they underwent significant change, whether it be physical, emotional, or psychological. This chapter explores personal growth, struggle with identity, or the choices that led to a metamorphosis. And then finally, 15, Everything Happens for a Reason. It's not only the title of this chapter, but it's also a song from Madison's debut album, Life Support. So that's all the chapters and a little bit about them. I feel like the main things that we missed here or things that she shared in the book, not to get like super into it, but she did share a time of when she tried to commit suicide, was unsuccessful. She had suicidal ideations and I think maybe multiple attempts also. And she talks a lot about her best friend who was once a fan, and then I think she wrote like a college paper or something like that about Madison Beer and shared it online, and Madison found it and read it and was just like in awe at how nice and sweet and understanding it was about Madison and her struggles. And so Madison reached out and said, you know, thanks for writing it, whatever, and they became like the best of friends, and now they're still best friends, which that part was like the most sticking out part to me. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, she also touches on like times that she had been like sexually assaulted in life, and like obviously it said that like some like private photos of her had been shared, and I feel like that's the thing that everybody knows Madison Beer for is like her private photos that were like unveiled of her. She was 15 years old when it happened. She didn't like fess up to them being hers until she was 21 when she was an adult, and she talked about the pain of that, but also like that's assault in and of its own, but also actual physical assault that had happened to her as well.
Yep. So it's a lot of obviously traumatizing things. If you want to learn more about her story, definitely read the book. But I just want to get into what did you think overall and how will you rate this book?
I think it was good. I think that I could tell she was being a little bit like caged.
Yes.
Like in her description of herself. Yeah. I think that she used this more as like a therapeutic technique. Like she needed to know that she could say some things out loud about herself because she knew that was the only way she could heal, but she was definitely being a little bit like caged with some of her like descriptions, and like she wasn't being as open. Like this is the second memoir we've read. We read Jeanette McCurdy's, and that was so raw and vulnerable. Every moment was given, which I appreciate, but I also understand from Madison Beer's point of view of not being able to be that open and vulnerable just because she's not in a place in her life yet to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was really struggling with trying not to compare the two books because Jeanette McCurdy's book was so good, so real, so raw. She would say things that people think but never say in their whole life. Like, she would say them out loud. And like, the book was so freaking good. Probably maybe one of our only 10 out of 10 books on bookclubs.com. And I think it's hard to not compare them, but I'm trying not to because they're not the same. They're not going to be the same. But I did hope that this would live up to that level of rawness, I guess. And it didn't, which is okay because it's a different book. But I struggled with not comparing them for sure.
Yeah, it's a very different story, a very different perspective.
Yeah.
She also, in Jeanette McCurdy's point of view, like, I'm not comparing the books, but because they are the same type of book, I'm like using them as some sort of comparison.
Like an anchor, yeah.
In Jeanette McCurdy's book, her mother had died. She had no loyalties to keep those things to herself anymore because the person she was talking about was dead. In Madison Beer's book, every single person she's talking about is still alive, and she has to keep their privacy, because when you write a book like this, not only do you have to be vulnerable enough to talk about things that happen to you, you have to be willing to not give names and stuff, especially because they're alive. Because imagine this book is entirely about hate, and she already gets hate on a daily basis. Is she willing to receive hate because she named somebody?
Right. She was very poised about it all.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
She always said, my current boyfriend. Like, obviously, if you know about like her past and stuff, like in the first couple of chapters, she's talking about her boyfriend that she ended up opening a performance for. I don't know who that is because I don't know her story. But like, if you know like her history and like who she's dated and stuff, you could probably figure out who that is.
100%. Also, something that's important to keep in mind, which some would say this isn't a big age difference, but to me, I think it's big enough. She's 8 years younger or 7 years younger than Jeanette McCurdy. So I feel like that's a good amount of time. She's only 25. Jeanette McCurdy's 32. I feel like that's a good amount of age difference too, that they have just a different way of writing and a different perspective. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and she had even said that like, while she's a very gifted songwriter, she's not a literary writer, and those are two completely different things. Like, she can write poems, she can write rhymes, she can write song lyrics, whatever, and that's like the completely like opposite side of writing a memoir. In a memoir, you're not using symbolism, you're not using rhymes, you're writing a story about yourself in first person usually, and that's not what you're doing when you're writing a song. So while she might be very good at writing a song, she's not necessarily going to be able to translate that immediately. And she talks about that in the book. She's like, this is the first time I've ever written anything like this. And her friend Lena, who she talks about in the book, she talks about how she got her master's in writing, and that woman like helped her write this. And I was like, you could tell that maybe like some of the chapters she had like spoken to Lena probably, and Lena put her thoughts into words. Yeah,
100%. I agree. And I loved that part of it all, that her friend helped her write it, because that's so cute. It's like really full circle to how they met, which is adorable.
And like, if I were to write a book, like, I mean, obviously in Madison Beer's songwriting, she doesn't have to worry about commas, punctuation, anything like that. So getting somebody that has a master's in writing is going to be so helpful to you, because they can serve as that like that proofreader or like that grammatical person that you need in a book writing experience.
It's so good. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so my next question is, how will you rate this book?
I don't know. I feel like memoirs are up and down. I think that it's obviously, you're so vulnerable. You're sharing your life with me, so I don't want to discredit your work.
Yes, exactly. I feel the same way.
But I do think that it was very like surface level. Like she explained things that had happened to her, but she didn't go deeply. I think that her like psychological perspective on it, of like breaking down mental health, I think I really liked that part. Yeah. But I think that it was hard for me to like super connect to her in the book, just because she wasn't being as open and honest as
I agree.
Some other books
I also
written.
struggle, because we'll get to this later, but I think reading this book made me want to be more kind and like more nicer. Just in general, just reading all about it, I'm like, you're right. I've definitely been a person to see someone online and be like, oh, they're like so weird, or they're ugly, or I don't like them. Like, I've thought those things. I think a lot of people have, and you don't want to admit it out loud ever, but you think it, and then you're like, oh shit, like imagine someone looking online and saying that about me and being like, oh, she's so ugly. It's like, you don't even know me. So it did make me want to be like more kind overall, which also made it hard to rate the book. But I think I'm going to rate the book 3 out of 5 on Goodreads, sadly, because that's just where it stands. If I look at other of my 4 out of 5 books, I don't feel right putting this book in that category. And then on book clubs, I mean, that's a 60%. So on book clubs, I'll probably give it a 6. That's how I'm thinking.
I think I'm close to that. I say like, because on Goodreads you can't give half percents. I think that I would give it a 3. I think I could realistically give it a 3.5, which would end up being a 7 on book clubs. I think, I agree. If I can do math properly right now. But I think it's because of those reasons. I think that it is very like vulnerable and strong, and like it gives me a better appreciation for her because I didn't know anything about her. Like I almost watched the Call Her Daddy interview yesterday too, after I finished reading the book, just so I could like see her, like her vocal perspective like on it too, because I know that interview was done like right before or right after the book released or something. But I think that I would give it a 3.5, 3 because she like she talks about things that are uncomfortable, and like that's really admirable to me. But I also think like it was a very short book. I think it could have been longer. I think with time she could write another that goes more deep into these situations, and I would love to read that.
Agree. 100% agree. The Call Her Daddy interview is what inspired me to choose this book, because I loved the way she spoke, and I do think she, honestly, I feel bad to say this, but like you could probably skip the book and watch the interview. I think it was more raw and real because you could hear her voice saying it, and that was different than reading it on paper. On reading it on paper, it didn't feel as deep, but hearing her say it did, and she was saying the same kind of stuff. So I also think in general, I've been realizing this. I've watched a lot of Call Her Daddy interviews, like Jojo Siwa, for example, who's someone that everyone loves to make fun of right now. I watched her Call Her Daddy interview and I was like, I respect her, and I feel bad that she gets so much hate, because I'm like, every time I watch one of these interviews, it really humanizes the person, and I'm always like, wait, okay, I can see that, and like I'm not going to be mean to them, because imagine if that was you, right? Yeah. So I feel like this book did a good job of humanizing her too.
Yeah, I agree. I don't watch Call Her Daddy that often. I used to watch it a lot more before the whole Barstool fiasco.
Right, yeah.
But I really like the direction that it's taken of like...
Me too.
Like reopening like stories of people and like giving them a platform to talk about. And like no matter how controversial she is right now, for one of her most recent interviews, I still like, I commend her for that. And I think that it's so interesting to be able to watch somebody speak open and honestly. Like I watched the Megan Fox interview, and I thought that was incredible.
Agree. Yes. It's like, I love that Alex, she'll just let them come on and she will just let them go, like let them talk, and Alex is never judging them, and she's always like, she's a good interviewer, she's good at what she does, she's always playing off their vibe and asking different questions. And even I'm not a Katy Perry fan, I don't really like Katy Perry at all. Even the Katy Perry one, I was like, okay, I still watched it all. I'm like, you know what, I understand I'm not going to be a fan of Katy Perry, but I'm not going to be a hater, because like, why would I, you know?
Yeah. So I also think she's not afraid to ask the hard-hitting questions.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've like, I commend her on that. And like, that's crazy. Honestly. Because sometimes like, I mean, Megan Fox comes in the room, and obviously she's been known as a sex symbol for ages, and I'm getting off topic, but Alex Cooper sits down, looks at Megan Fox, and is like, how does it feel to be a sex symbol? And like, she's not afraid to say that.
It's so good. There's also like, sometimes, I can't remember the one I saw this, but Alex was like, my followers would kill me if I didn't ask you, how's this drama? You know, like just asking about a drama. She's like, you know, I don't want to get into it too much, but like they'd kill me if they didn't get to know. Like I want to ask, I only have you for this much time. I'm asking you what people want to know, because otherwise it wouldn't be a good interview and we wouldn't care.
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking too, I was curious if Madison Beer voiced the audiobook for this, or if there is an audiobook version, because actually when I drove to Ohio in October, I re-listened to Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, and I listened to it as an audiobook, and I found that like even more impactful listening to it, because while she does a really good job of like keeping herself poised and like not emotional throughout the audiobook, like there was at least one time where I heard her voice breaking, like, and I was like, wow, this is incredible that like you wrote this book, you're saying this book, and I think it's interesting.
That's wild. I just looked it up, and Madison Beer narrates it. So I think actually it would be safe for us to recommend the audiobook instead of the regular. Like, I'm not trying to get people to not read the book, but I think if you're going to pick one, that might be a stronger choice.
Just so you can hear the like vulnerability behind the voice, and
that could bump it up to a 4 rating for all I know. Yeah, that could help.
I even forgot to put it on my Goodreads that I re-listened to I'm Glad My Mom Died, but I'll put it on there eventually.
You gotta get it in there. Yeah. Okay, so I pulled all the journal prompts, and I'll read them all to you guys in case you want to do them at home. For most of them, she wrote like 2 paragraphs. So what I did is I just shortened it, and I only pulled like 1 sentence. So there's 8 journal prompts throughout the book, and it's really cute because if you have the paper book, you can write in the book. We read the Kindle. I think you probably did too. But yeah, we read the Kindle, so we weren't trying to be doing that. But I thought it'd be fun to just talk through, and I think also like there's some of them that I don't have a good answer for, I don't want to answer, so we'll just jump around and pick whatever we want. So First, I'm just going to read them all, I think, 1 through 8, just so we have them. And then Marissa and I will go back and pick our faves and answer.
Okay.
So her first journal prompt is called Untangling Anxiety. And she says to tell me about a time that your anxiety was proven wrong. This is one that had a lot of paragraphs with it. And it just talks about kind of repurposing, your anxious thoughts. So there's that. Journal prompt number 2 is playlist of my life. So I think maybe a couple of these will be fun to answer, but she asks you to write down a song you connected with on your first listen, reminds you of your childhood, a song that calms you down, a song for driving with the windows down, a song you know every word to, a song that reminds you of your best friend, and a song that makes you feel less alone. So I think those are so cute and fun. Journal prompt number 3 is reconnecting with your inner child. How did you define yourself as a child? And as you've grown, how has that changed? Journal prompt 4 is a letter to yourself. So in a year from now, where do you want to be? What will you wish you had started doing today? That's a longer one too, but it's literally writing a letter to your future self. Journal 5, prompt number 5 is getting out of your own way. So what are some of the ways you work against yourself? And what are some healthy coping mechanisms, even if they're small, that you could turn to instead, kind of replacing those habits? Journal 6 is owning up. Have you ever left a negative comment about someone? Like I was just saying, maybe even about yourself. And if you could apologize for that, for what you said to that person, or maybe even what you thought about that person, what would you say? Number 7 is turning negatives to positives. So name a trait that other people find negative about you, and then find a way to turn it into a positive. So Madison said that she cares, quote, too much, which is something that people say. And she was turning that around and how that's really a good thing about her. And then number 8 is reconnecting with yourself. So I feel happiest when I'm blank. So if you guys want to journal at home, write them down, get started. I think they're all really good prompts, honestly. And now we can jump around and answer some for fun.
Yay.
So let's do it.
Are there any that are calling to you?
Yeah, I think this is a simple answer for me, but the one that I was like, oh, this is the easiest to answer is journal prompt number 3. So this was reconnecting with your inner child, but just how did you define yourself as a child, and how have you grown, or as you've grown, how's that changed? I thought about this one right away because I would define myself as a child as a mute. I tell people all the time. Like I define myself as shy, timid, quiet. I always had lots of thoughts in my head, and I was always kind of how I am now, same personality wise, but I just didn't voice it at all. So I feel like as I've grown, that has changed, and I feel like the way it's changed is just I found my voice. My physical voice, my internal voice, like I've learned about myself, and I've learned how to express myself and get out the things that I think. So as a kid, I was just really shy, really timid. And now I feel like if I think something, I'm going to say it, and that's going to be that. So I think going to college was a big part of that. Obviously, I talked about that before in my life story, but just refusing to be shy. And it takes a lot of work. As you guys know, I always talk about social anxiety. It's very hard for me, very, very hard for me. But just refusing to be shy and really trying to talk to people and learn perspectives and say my things, have my voice. Yeah, that's how it's changed. So I feel like that was a good one.
Yeah. I feel like mine's a little bit opposite of yours.
Ooh.
I would say when I was a child, I was super rambunctious. I was loud. I was always trying to be the center of attention. I don't know if that's because I learned to be that way, or if I was kind of forced to be that way in a certain sense. But I think that because of the way that I was as a kid, I felt like I was too much. And I was told that all the time, oh, you're too loud, you're too annoying, whatever. I was always told that. And so I think that I kind of deafened myself as I got a little bit. As I got older. And I remember specifically, I switched schools in 8th grade because of bullying, of course. And when I switched schools, I was I'm going to become a new version of myself. Yes. Everybody thought that I was I was too annoying, I was too loud, I was too whatever. And unfortunately, that meant that when I went into my new school, I tried to be quieter. I tried to be nice. Obviously I was always nice, but I tried to be I guess
more timid a little.
Yeah. And that didn't work because of course I am who I am. And I tried my best to be quieter, but it didn't work. Luckily it didn't work. But I do find as I've gotten older, I am understanding my place in a room a little bit better. And I think that I didn't understand that as a kid. And now I can be quiet. I can do that, but I can also be crazy loud and crazy fun and crazy exciting when I'm in a group of people.
Wait, that's so wild because it's literally we had the exact opposite experiences.
Yeah.
But it's so
and
cool.
Not that I'm a mute now, like you say you were as a kid, but I am definitely a lot more reserved and quieter. And if you ask me any question about myself, of course I'm still going to tell you the answer. That's what I don't mean by reserved. I mean I'm not going to be the first person you hear in a room.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense and that tracks. That's cool. I love a little reminiscing.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? Did you have one that you were like, ooh, this sounds fun?
I like number 1.
Okay,
so this one was the untangling anxiety. Tell me about a time your anxiety was proven wrong. I feel like this is something that I'm learning more as I get older, and I'm still trying to unpack it. So this is probably going to be the crudest explanation ever. But I think because I was long distance from Kyle so long, I'm so scared of not spending time with him. Yeah. And I think that I'm starting to unpack this to a point where I'm like, if I don't spend time with him, our time is going to be cut short and he's going to die and I'm not going to get that time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I think that that's a really hard thing to like let my brain push past. Yeah. But I know it's not true. I know it's not going to happen. Like, obviously it could happen, but I'm treating it like it's going to happen. Like, as soon as we're not in a room together, that like, means
this is the fact. Yeah.
This is the end. Like, we're never going to be with each other again. And that's something that I've like started to like put together in like the last couple months. Like, we've only lived together for a year and a half. So like, what am I supposed to do? I'm still learning. Yeah. But obviously it's been proven wrong time and time again. I go and I hang out with my friends or I go somewhere and I come back and he's still here. So, I mean, obviously that's been proven wrong, but it's definitely something that I have to like learn to deal with. Yeah. And it's never happened like with family or anything. I'm never scared of that. And like, it's just like, I think it's because we're so interconnected. Like, we live together. I see him every day that I think it's the thing that I'm most scared of. Yeah. No, I think it's a rational fear, but not when it goes so far that it's like controlling your life, you know? Yes. But I totally hear that. And I didn't even put that together. I was just like, well, I'm trying to make up for lost time. But like, I think somebody said it to me one time and they're like, well, why are you scared of like leaving? Like, is there a reason behind it? And I was like, maybe. Like, probably, but I don't want to know. Yeah. That's funny. That's a good one. Okay. For this one, I had a thought. Mine was like a little bit more, I guess like, everyone could guess this, but I feel like anytime my anxiety has been proven wrong is in social situations. So like anytime that I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just so scared to like make the first move to talk to somebody new or whatever. Anytime I've ever done it, it's always gone well. And for some reason that doesn't matter though. Like anyone out there, you guys can probably relate. It's like, for some reason that doesn't matter. I'm still going to be scared of it every single time, even though I go out and I talk to somebody at dance and it's a really nice interaction and I like got to talk to someone new and learn their name and I see them every week and now I can wave at them and be like, hey, how's it going? But it still scares me every time. So I think that's a way that my anxiety is proven wrong, is just when I step out of the box and I talk to someone or I make a phone call, like make a doctor's appointment. Oh my God, my life didn't end, but I'm still going to be scared to do it next time. So I think that's a battle that I'm always having, is like, yeah, it always goes well, but for some reason my brain still is like, we don't want to do that. So it's hard. Like you were saying, it's kind of like a consistent battle. Yeah, I also just recently came over an anxiety of this twice. No way. So last weekend, my friend Hunter, one of her friends, moved here to this area and doesn't have any friends like besides her roommate. Like, she moved here for work, and Hunter was like, you guys should hang out. You both like running. You both like these things. Yes. Like, I think if you're both my friend, then you should hang out. Yeah. And I didn't want to go. Yep. I didn't want to see her. I was like, she's going to hate me. I'm not going to get along with her. I had to meet her like on the corner of a street. I wasn't exactly sure what she looked like. And like, I followed her on Instagram. So scary. So, like, I knew, but I was so scared. Yeah. And we ran together and we did not stop talking the whole time. That is so cute. Wait, I love it. That's and amazing. It was so scary, but I did it. So you can do hard things. I know that we've said that in so many other episodes this year. So and then just yesterday, actually, Julie connected me with somebody that's in one of her classes that is interested in forensic science. No way. And I did a phone call with them to answer all of her questions about forensic science. That's scary. People have asked me that before too. Like, oh, can I connect you with this person? I'm like, yeah, I guess. But I'm scared. I know. I did a Zoom call with her and she was so sweet and so cute. Nice. And she asked so many good questions. And I'm obsessed. I told her that she could reach out to me again in the future. Oh, wait, that is adorable. I'm so excited for you and so proud. So proud. Thanks. I love that. That's really awesome. Again, it's like right before it happens, I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to cancel. I'm gonna like act like I don't exist, and I'm gonna like ghost them. But I'll pretend my camera's broken, like they won't see me. I didn't both of the times, and I'm so glad I didn't. Yay, that's so good. Okay,
let's pick one more each. I will really want to get into journal prompt number 2.
Okay.
Playlist of my life. It's fun.
just feel like I have no answers.
I know. I was going to say, I'm just going to hop around because I do not have an answer for every single one. But I will say, a song that reminds me of my childhood. This one's kind of easy for me. I always have Florida songs. I think I've said that on the podcast, but when me and my mom would drive to Florida. So a song that reminds me of my childhood, very random, but it's give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Drift Away by Dobie Gray. That is or as we know, Kid Rock. We've talked about this song before. That's a song that reminds me of my childhood. So I just think that's a fun one. And I will give you guys my other one too. A song that reminds me of my best friend. This one came easily to me because I thought of my friend Cree, that you guys have probably heard of, her and her daughter Willow. But me and Cree always used to try to duet. And you've said this too. We've already talked about this song. I don't know how we did this, but I put your picture away.
By Kid Rock.
Yep. The Kid Rock really coming strong from my childhood. And then also just in general, song for driving with the windows down. For me, that's just like country music, period. I love country music, windows down, summer vibes. So those are my songs. Do you have any? You can pick any of the prompts if you have one.
Don't have any.
It's hard.
There's so many songs that I know every word to, so like that's a hard one to answer. Songs that calm me down, I can't even think of one because all of my music is not calming music. A song I connected with on the first listen, like I don't know. That one's hard. I don't know.
Give us an album you know every word to, like a Post Malone album or something?
Yeah, well, an album that I know every word to.
Yeah, or a song. Like I'm thinking if I were to think like, a song I know every word to, it's hard to think of a song, but I could say like Morgan Wallen's One Thing at a Time album. I know every song on the album and just like very well. So
I have 2, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I have Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone.
Of course.
And then Views by Drake.
Oh my God, no way. That's so funny.
I know I every single word of every single song on that album.
Wait, that's cute. I love it. Okay. Well, that's easy. Do you want to pick one more or should we wrap up?
I guess if you want to do a little manifesting prior to your vision boarding night, we could say in a year from now, where do you want to be?
Ooh, okay, that's fun. So, I don't know if I have answers for this one, to be honest, but let's think. I do have...
Just think of like one thing that you want to have accomplished by this time next year.
I do think at this time next year... we will either be living in Mississippi or we will be coming home from Mississippi. And if all goes in the way we're planning, when we come home, we'll be buying a new house or buying a van. We'll be doing something different. We won't have our same house to come back to. So I guess that's like my big thing that I'm hoping for. Yeah. But I'm also not trying to put a lot of pressure on it because I'm just excited to have like live in a new place for a short amount of time. I think that'll be fun and I'm just excited.
Yeah, it will be exciting.
Yeah.
In a year from now, what do I want to have accomplished? I want to move. I don't know to where, but I do want to move. Like, I mean, obviously in the same area. Me and Kyle aren't quitting our jobs anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I do want to live in a bigger place. My goal is I want to rent a townhome, but that's looking a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
So maybe at least a 2-bedroom apartment.
That'd be nice.
And I also... I think this is going to be one of my goals for the new year, which I know we're going to be talking about in our first episode back probably, is goals and manifesting again. But I do want to make running more of a habit rather than something that I only do when I'm training, because I want to keep endurance the entire year. So I think that one of my goals for the new year is going to be don't ever go a month without running. So at least run once a month.
I like that. Yeah.
And... I think that that's where I want to be, like this time next year. I also was thinking, because of course the Chicago Marathon just happened, the New York City Marathon just happened. I would like to run a marathon once in my life, and why not make it during my 26th year? So maybe
that's cute.
In 2026, when I'm 26, I'll run one of the marathons.
I like that. That's cool. Got to throw it out there.
Yeah, but I think that my first one has to be a big one. So, like, I might do the New York City Marathon for, like, charity or something, because you do have to qualify unless you're doing charity. So I'm thinking maybe I do that. But I also want to run another long distance before I do a marathon.
That makes sense.
And marathon training is like a lifestyle, and I'm so nervous. And I would have to run in the summer, and I'm so scared to do that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That would be really cool. I love the 26th year. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. So cool. Well, this was fun. I really liked the journal prompts, got us talking a lot, and I really enjoyed them, actually. At first, I wasn't sure how that would go, because I was going to do discussion questions, but I couldn't find any. And I was like, I know this sounds lazy, but I didn't want to write my own because I feel like I'm not that good at coming up with like a good comprehensive question. So I kind of liked this.
Yeah, we don't run book clubs. We do book clubs.
We just do them. Yeah, exactly. Like we're not creating. We're not starting writing the book.
No.
Yeah. But okay, well, this was fun. Thank you guys for listening. It still ended up being a normal length episode. Don't ever expect us. If we start the episode and say this is going to be a short episode, we're probably lying. Okay.
We didn't even say that this time. So
I guess that's true. I was just like, I hope it's not crazy, but I guess it's not crazy. Anyways, that's all. Vote in the poll.
That's it.
I don't know what the poll's going to be, but vote in it. Okay.
Did you
and
like
then on
this
next
book?
week's episode, we'll read the poll results like you suggested, which is fun. So yeah, like I said, we are getting back together in 4 weeks. So next episode will be a very chit-chatty episode, and then we'll be back with a Survivor recap to end the year / start the new year. We'll end season 2 there on January 1st. So it's exciting. Stay tuned. I'm pumped. It's going to be so fun. And thanks for listening. So yeah, follow us on Instagram at We Run on Coffee. Check out our If You Know, You Know stories, which are all highlighted on our page. So if you missed them on Wednesday, you can still find them at any point in time. Or if you're behind a couple episodes, they'll still be there, which I'm excited about. So that would be cool.
Help us start preparing for our 100th episode and send us
your
stories.
Ideas, send your stories, like anything you got, send it. Okay, please. We're begging. So yeah, that's all. And with that, I'm Erica.
And I'm Marissa.
And we run on coffee.
Bye.
Bye-bye.